Well, with a beer in hand, we are here to talk to you about a lot of fun football stuff. We are going to start locally, like always, the most important stuff, CyHawk Week. I'm Paul Rubidoux with Brandon Plecker.
Hey, guys.
And Jake Williams.
Hey.
And we'll get to your Huskers in a minute.
I was trying to do the Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, keep drinking that Kool-Aid, buddy. Hope it goes down easy.
Tastes like Coors Light, this Kool-Aid.
Not like cyanide.
I have Coors Light in my house, and I almost threw it out after Saturday because I was like, I will not drink this Colorado beer.
Well, obviously, we have to start with the most important thing that has probably ever happened to Iowa State football. This is game day coming to Ames, followed by a nationally televised game. I'm so excited no matter what happens. What? Is it not?
No, it's going to be on FS1. This is what's annoying. So I looked into this. Game day will...
Well, I know it'll be on FS1.
Yeah.
It's still nationally televised.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets FS1.
I just didn't know
The
if,
same people who get ESPN are going to get FS1.
I didn't know if it would be like how Fox does Sunday where you'll get the regional.
Anyway,
but
I'm
it's
sorry.
national.
I interrupted you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Nebraska fan. I expect
I'm
multiple
hurting.
interruptions during this.
Nothing less.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you guys can't have your moment. It's not going to happen.
It's a great moment, and I think that Iowa and Iowa State fans need to recognize that this day isn't possible without where both teams are right now and how they both have very positive outlooks in the near future and long term. This season could be historically great for one, if not both teams, and this game is going to possibly be a big part of that. And, I mean, I'm just excited to be here. And that is the most Iowa State football thing to say. but I am.
That sounds like me at a party. I'm just happy you guys invited me. No, this is actually really cool for me because this will be my first ever CyHawk game. And it's going to be probably the most hyped CyHawk game ever with game day being there. And I think, you said it. And I also said this on College Football Hangover on Line Opinionated's YouTube channel. I said that this is an underrated rivalry, and I feel like this will be nice to get some more recognition for this rivalry because I think it's almost always competitive.
Underrated nationally,
Yeah.
you're saying?
It's a big deal here, but it's not like Florida State. It's not like...
I don't think it's underrated. Brandon, do you think it's underrated?
I don't think it's I would just say the only one that, if you're considering it to Ohio State, Michigan, yes.
If it was in conference, it would matter more nationally. We would probably
Because
get
it would
a
be
little
part
more
of
attention.
rivalry week.
It would matter in terms
You
of
think about all those
seeding.
games you're talking about played on the last game of the
Yeah.
season because they're conference games and Ohio State, Michigan rules all,
Right.
really.
Yeah, but, it's just when I think of in-state rivalries, that's just not the first one that comes to mind. I think of other games.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah, bigger games with more historic schools. I mean, obviously. I mean, Iowa State does not have the history of Iowa, but Iowa is not a nationally historic powerhouse either. And so that probably is a part of what leads to this.
It makes
Brandon looked like you looked like whoa when I said that.
Yeah, I know. Brandon was taken aback. He's going to start pausing.
Okay. We have breaking news.
What?
Bro, like hit your mic with that when you see that next time.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a word that you said earlier.
What did you see? What did you see?
Okay, I thought that Brandon's facial reaction was to me saying that Iowa is not a nationally historic and relevant program, but I know he is a little ahead of me on the notifications from Bleacher Report, and I just got... there it is.
I saw it now, too. Yep.
Antonio Brown has been accused of sexually assaulting and raping a woman who attended college with him. We have a segment on Antonio Brown. We will get to that.
gosh.
But breaking news as we are recording this Tuesday evening.
Good Lord.
Wow, another fold. How will Belichick think of this? Hold that and think on it. Back to CyHawk
Back to
Week.
CyHawk.
Oh, game day.
This is more important.
How many signs of there? I need to count the signs of the picture of the Kirk Herbstreit's tweet saying that Matt Campbell is gone.
I actually, I was on the radio Tuesday morning, and we talked about that tweet specifically, and we kind of addressed why we think Cyclone fans are so upset about it, and because it's the idea that Iowa State's a stepping stone, and I think they're fine. I think people are looking too much into that Herb Street tweet, to be honest.
As a Cyclone fan, I would say what irked me about it is that not that he assumes Iowa State is a stepping stone, which, I mean, why would I expect any coach to, except if it's their alma mater, to stay at Iowa State for their entire career? This is not a program where you can even get the money that Texas can give you. It does come down to that.
It's a Power 5 school, but it's a lower. I'm not trying to say it's a lower tier, but it's not. It doesn't have the name recognition of other Power 5 schools.
But why I was upset about it is because Herb Street's, by saying that, he was not listening to a single thing that Matt Campbell had been saying or doing. Matt Campbell, if you listen to him, he is all praise for Bill Snyder. He is, how do we build it right here? How do we get the guys in this state? Mm-hmm. And Herb Street's tweet was kind of like you think you have the hot coaching name, but you're not listening to what that coach is actually doing, which is trying to seriously, concretely build, which I know every coach says they do.
Yeah, and it definitely, from what I
say, you can't always take a coach's word when it comes
to
stuff like that.
You got to do it with a grain of salt. Yeah. They can leave faster than the players, and that's a fact.
Keeping it in state, I think he's going to try to be like a Kirk Ferentz, where he's going to stay at Iowa State for a very long time. I think his whole goal is to build a legacy for Iowa State. I don't know if he'll be like Joe Pa levels, but I think this is his job that he's going to try and keep for a long time. Now, I didn't think he had a legitimate shot to go to Ohio State. I just didn't see it. I think he's done a great job with Iowa State, but nothing that to me said that it was going to be Ohio State. I knew that. Is it Ryan Day? Is his name? The Ohio State coach now.
The guy this year?
I believe so.
Yeah, I knew that Urban was going to make him the guy, based on just how he took over for him last season. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually going to be at the game. It's gonna be a long day for me because we're not going to get there early enough to be
close enough.
Be close enough for game day.
You're gonna have to get there at 5 or 6 a.m.
When doesn't game day start like 6 a.m.?
Game day
starts at 8.
Starts taping at 8 live.
8,
but
it's live at 8.
Parking's at 5 a.m.
Parking opens.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too.
So I'm probably not going to be anywhere near it. I mean, I'll probably do my best to take a picture of it and stuff like that, and try and get some audio for the show. But I'm still going to be there at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be there from 8, and the game will probably get over around like 7. So I'm going to be there all day.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to hydrate.
There's a good time in the early afternoon for you to take a nap after you really tailgate for a few hours, enjoy the
sleep in my brother-in-law's car.
You just take an hour and a half siesta.
It's got a big truck. I could probably just sleep in the back
Make
seat.
sure there's enough gas to keep the air conditioning on the whole time. And
I'll just crack a window.
And you can do that, and then you got your game ticket, and you head in refreshed to the game and rally.
Well, that's the thing too, is I've tailgated at Jack Trice before, and that was just for like a random game. I've never tailgated for a CyHawk game, let alone, again, probably the most hyped up CyHawk game ever. So it's going to be interesting.
Even though Iowa State is not ranked.
Which is stupid.
That is disappointing.
They should be ranked.
But we knew this was a possible consequence of the bye week.
Well, not only the bye week.
Shaky week 1 win.
How you played in week 1 on top of the bye week. And other teams are going to prove, like Maryland has won by over 30 points 2 weeks in a row.
Let's calm down on the Maryland hype.
I'm not saying, but that's why they're ranked 21 this week.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not saying that they are better. I'm just saying that that's why they're ranked. They beat Syracuse by 30 points.
I'm in the camp that believes that Iowa State should be ranked just by the idea that, yes, I understand that they had a bye week.
For a narrative.
But, yes, for the narrative and for the fact that Nebraska lost and they were tied with Nebraska.
You started your sentence talking about Iowa State. And it's gone west from there.
Can you believe this? I'm benefiting Iowa State and talking them up.
He's talking about how they lost.
I'm talking how Nebraska lost building up Iowa State, and you still can't take it. You're the worst.
You're the worst. Why can't you give me something that doesn't involve Nebraska?
You are a living Twitter account, and I hate it.
I have been becoming more of my Twitter account.
You are and I don't understand it. If it were Brandon, I would understand it because Nebraska actually plays Iowa every year. But what is the deal?
Because there will never be a repercussion. What?
Consequences.
I would love any year if Iowa State plays Nebraska in a bowl game or non-conference neutral site. Where? Kansas City?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, Kansas City, because both states have no other stadium besides.
You
know.
can't play it in Des Moines. It's a home game.
No, we could. You don't want to play in Iowa City.
Iowa City is more unrealistic than Kansas City.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Kansas City or Manhattan.
Yeah, where are you going to go? So anyway,
Why are you going so far south?
I don't know.
I just think that because of how Syracuse lost, and I do think that Maryland should be ranked because of their performance, but I think just on that, Iowa State should be ranked.
I hope you hear how I'm saying I'm not surprised. I'm not upset that Iowa State's not ranked. It's a consequence of how their schedule is this year. You need to go out there and show me something this week. You need to show me why you should be ranked. You need to show why you were ranked in the preseason. You need to put something together on offense in the first half. And I'm expecting a lot out of Iowa State this weekend. And without building myself up saying we're going to win, oh my gosh, I'm expecting to see a lot more than I saw in week one, as I hope every Cyclone fan is.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be an interesting matchup this week because I'll get ready for this. I'm fully going to admit this. I never would have thought at this point in the season that I would have said that I think Nate Stanley has outperformed Adrian Martinez in 2 games this season. And I think the matchup between him and Brock Purdy is probably one of the more interesting storylines. I like both defenses. I know I keep bringing Nebraska.
I can't he couldn't have just said compared to Brock Purdy.
No, I had to.
He had to say
That seemed like a pretty
Martinez.
obvious statement
No,
to me,
he
but
No, I had to apologize.
It's an obvious statement, but it is.
I had to eat-
But that's my point. That's my point.
He has to throw it in.
No, I had to do that because I had to eat my crow because I had said all preseason that I wasn't buying into Nate Stanley, and he has played very well through the first 2 games. And I think Brock Purdy played better than the rest of his team did in the first game. And I think
Won the game with the fumble recovery.
saved their season. I don't know. That's the issue I'm running into because I think it's going to be a good matchup between the quarterbacks, but then it also both have very good defenses. So I could see it being as ugly as it was last year. But I could also see a lot of points because Iowa State didn't have the identity they have now in that game last year. So I don't know. It's a toss-up to me.
Well, we're jumping into predictions here, and I'm going to piggyback off of what you're saying, Jake. I think that there's going to be one quarter where a total of 3 points are scored. But I think there's going to be a quarter where one team scores 14 points. I think it's going to be a lot higher scoring than last year, but I think there will also be that struggle point where either both teams are trying to figure each other out or have to a point where the other needs to adjust.
I would expect that to be early, especially first quarter. That's because
Very slow first quarter.
Because you get hyped. Defenses feed off of hype. That's how teams play great defense. Mm-hmm. Both teams are going to so that's how I expect, and both defenses are very good and better than the offense that they're going against. So I expect the first quarter, and then once you figure out what's going on, then you'll start seeing playmakers on both sides start making some plays.
Yeah, once you figure out a little bit of the flow of the game, the play calling will go to the playmakers, where you say, okay, we can go to this guy in those spots or these situations after you feel out each other. And that's just what Iowa State never got past last year. They never were able to get explosive, which defined their season, but they weren't able to do it in the Iowa game, and I feel that's really what led to the loss.
Well, and it goes back to the scenario that they were in where Kyle Kemp got hurt and they hadn't built an offense around Purdy like they have had a whole offseason to do this time around. It's an interesting matchup. I mean, if you just break it down by groups, you could probably speak more to Iowa than I could for what I know of Iowa State. I want to see, if you just break down defenses, and we've talked about this before on this show, where I think Iowa has a better defensive line, but I think Iowa State has better linebackers, but I also think that Iowa has a better secondary. So if you're breaking it down just on that, I got to give the edge to Iowa defensively. Now, offensively, I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't watched enough on Iowa to give an opinion on that. I would like to see Iowa State have a running back that steps up and takes... I'm not a fan of committees. I think
That's because you play fantasy football. Nobody that plays fantasy football likes running back committees.
No, I get the idea of keeping guys fresh, but I feel like you just got to get one guy to dominate.
The
Just take
Hawkeyes
over.
run 4 guys out there. Each of the last 2 games, there's been 4 different guys who've carried the ball.
And they might have 2,000-yard rushers. You know, that's
They
just, that's
did
just how the Hawkeyes run.
they did 2 or 3 years ago. They had 2,000-yard
You
rushers.
got a thunder and
I'm pretty
lightning
sure.
thing.
Right, yeah.
That's exactly what they had with LaShawn Daniels and Akram Wadley.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Mekhi Sargent still there?
Yep.
Yep. But I see the thing that is going to define this game is I see Nate Stanley as the more statistically accurate quarterback who's going to dink and dunk it, more of the safe option. He doesn't make mistakes because he doesn't take a lot of chances. And so it's going to be the difference between not taking the chances and being secure, and Iowa State, who under Matt Campbell, the offense has been known for and defined, and you get wins off of explosive plays 3 times a game.
But they also don't have Hakeem Butler.
They don't have the playmakers.
They don't have
Yeah.
Hakeem Butler that is the deep threat. So
Right.
that's the interesting dichotomy of that.
Michael
And-
Petway he's been playing up to expectations so far, in most people's opinion, but it's still not Hakeem Butler. And we'll see. But I think Iowa State's passing offense is better than they showed in week 1. And I mean that's what I'm expecting to see a lot of.
Exciting times. All right. Who you got? Put your homerness away for a minute and honestly give me an objective opinion of who you think's going to win the game.
I think
I'm just kidding. Go for it. Screw Brandon. We all know Iowa State's going to win.
in-state rivalry game, you know, the home team's got that 3-point advantage, according to the gamblers.
No, I was favored by 2.
So what does that tell you about how gamblers want to get their money? No, seriously, think about it. If you have the away team favored by 2 points and Iowa State wins it all Hawkeyes lose their money.
So are you taking the Cyclones?
I'm taking Iowa State 24-21.
Interesting. I think it's a big game not only for obviously it's a huge game for the school of Iowa State, but it's a huge game for Matt Campbell because he takes this very seriously. He takes this rivalry very seriously.
He respects the rivalry.
He does.
Yeah, for it being
And
non-conference.
This game means a lot to him, and I would argue it probably means a lot more to him than it does Kirk Ferentz. And I think he's going to try and prove something, and I think Iowa State wins, but I agree by a field goal. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the same score. It might even be a 13-10 kind of game. I think it'll be like an ugly, nasty defensive battle, and I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal to decide it. Are you going to pick Iowa?
Yeah, I don't really know why we're picking teams. I mean,
Well, yeah, we all know.
We just went down the lines here. Yeah. But just for maybe new listener or two. Now you know who we all think is going to win, but it just went down right down party lines, as most votes do.
See, I was in a good position because, well, no, I'm not, because we're recording in my house. And if Ashley hears me pick Iowa over Iowa State, she would never let me sleep in the same bedroom. So I had to do what I had to do. Okay?
Bet your head, not your heart.
I would have picked Iowa State anyway.
Well,
But do you think it'll be a field goal? Do you think it'll be a touchdown? Do you think it's going to be a one-possession game, though?
yeah. If I had to pick a score, I'd say 21-17. Iowa.
that leads more to an Iowa
Yeah.
advantage the lower the score is. Yeah.
You got a problem, man.
What?
You got a gambling problem.